This is a Niall Boylan at Night podcast from Classic Hits 4FM. See classichits.ie for more.
I got a very interesting email, and I'll be honest with you, this only came in about 6 or 7 o'clock this evening, and I'm going to read it out. It's quite long-winded, but you get the general gist of it, all right? Could you read this out to your listeners, please, and see what they think? I'm a single mother of 2, and I was using an online dating service for about a year. I wasn't having much luck, and most of the men were either married or just looking for sex, probably like Willie that was on the other night. About 5 months ago, a guy messaged me, and I was shocked when I saw his profile pictures. He was very handsome, and he had a great profile, and I could not believe that a guy like him would ever be interested in me. We messaged each other a few times, and eventually we met up. We got on like a house on fire. Just clicked. I even told him about my children, and he said it did not matter to him and that he loved children anyway. He was perfect. I could not believe my luck. It seemed to be so too good to be true. Well, maybe it is. I'll keep reading. Last week he rang me up and he asked if we could meet up. He had something to tell me. We met up and I could see him straight away because he was very. I could see straight away that he was very nervous. He blurted out that he was a convicted rapist and he had raped a woman 8 years ago, and that he had served time in prison for it. My world fell apart at that moment. He was crying and swore to me that he is a changed man, and that if he could, he would do anything to change what he did in the past. He said he didn't tell me about it until then because he knew I would not have continued seeing him. I couldn't speak and I just ran out the door, and I haven't seen or spoke to him since. I've since searched him up for him online, and he was a convicted rapist. His victim was a young woman who has just started college, and he was given a 5-year sentence. He has left loads of voicemails and texts pleading with me to give him a chance. I know other women will scream at the radio and say I should ignore him and walk away, but I really do not know what to do. I love him so much. I really do. My parents have met him already and they've given it the thumbs up. My friends think he's a great guy and are happy for me. He has even met my children and they are also mad about him. We had even started talking about maybe moving in together. My head is telling me that a man like this can never change, but my heart is telling me that he is a good man and people can change. Could you ask your listeners, am I being foolish for even thinking about giving this guy a second chance? Could it work out between the two of us? Can a person really change, even when they have done something so horrible? He told me he's a changed man, and I really want to believe him. Anon. Well, I promised Anon I wouldn't read out her name, and I actually did email her earlier on and ask her to come on the show, but for obvious reasons she doesn't want to. It's an interesting dilemma, really, and I really don't need to elaborate too much on the email, and I'm sure you get the general gist of it, and I suppose most of you have never been in this situation, but maybe you found out a partner was an ex-con or guilty of domestic violence or something like that. But this is certainly one thing that is probably one of the worst crimes, next to murder, rape, or paedophilia sometimes as well would be considered even worse than murder, but certainly next to murder, rape is considered to be one of the worst crimes. He got 5 years for raping a girl who was a student who had just started college. He was given a 5-year sentence. Now you got to look at the evidence here. He did tell her, so he didn't wait for her to find out. He says he's a changed man. It was 8 years ago, so he's been out of jail for 3 years, obviously. Should she give him a second chance? Can somebody actually change? So I'm asking you, obviously it's difficult for the guys to answer this question, but guys can answer if they want to. Do you believe this girl could give this guy a second chance? He's a rapist. No two ways about it. So should he get a second chance? Text, yes, you would. Everybody's capable of change. Or no, not in a million years. Text a simple yes or no to 53544. Or if you want to give us a call, you can. The number is 1850 410 494. I want to go to, I can see a lot of no's coming in already. Tara, you're in Cork. You're on Classic Hits. Good evening to you.
Hi, Niall. How are you?
How are you doing, Tara? Look, I can see that this girl is definitely, from the tone of her email, she's in love. She's in love with this guy.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I mean, when your researcher rang me tonight, I thought for a few minutes this was a wind-up. I mean, I honestly can't believe that this woman would actually need to email a radio station and ask for your advice, not that your advice is bad or anything, and to ask for the general public's advice.
You'd be surprised, Tara, by the way, at some of the stuff that gets sent to us by email, some of the dilemmas people find themselves in that we really couldn't even put on the air. But however, this I found was an interesting one.
This is quite serious, Niall. I mean, we're not talking here about shoplifting or even at a stretch aggravated assault. We're talking about somebody who committed a serious, a heinous crime actually, which is rape. These two, I mean, paedophilia and rape go hand in hand as far as I'm concerned. You destroy another person's life, and you should never be forgiven. And this woman doesn't need the advice of anybody. She should have the cop on to be able to make up. I hope she's listening tonight.
Oh, I'd say she is. I told her, I emailed her and told her we'd be talking about it.
For the sake of, I just want to say to this woman, for the sake of your children, run, as fast as you can away from this man. Get the support of your family, get the support of your friends, and just, for God's sake, please run from this man because he's nothing but trouble. And I guarantee you, if he gets his grips on her, eventually, some night, something will go wrong and he'll end up raping either her or her kids. And she'll never be able to forgive herself,
When we talk about a paedophile, I would completely agree with you when it comes to a paedophile because they can't change. They're not capable of change. That's their sexual preference. With a rapist, it's about power. I don't know, can a rapist change? The reform rates are something in and around the 67 to 70%. Don't change, by the way. So he still has a 30 or 40% chance of changing. Whereas you look at a paedophile, 85% of them can't be reformed. 15% are. So in saying that, there's a possibility he could be honest and he could genuinely want to change. But, should she take that risk? No.
No, she shouldn't take that. She shouldn't take that risk. I mean, if you cast your mind back to a couple of weeks ago when those three thugs robbed that taxi driver, I mean, one of those guys, his girlfriend was expecting a baby.
That's right.
Now, I honestly don't know what's wrong with some of the women, Irish women out there, that they actually associate themselves with scum of the earth.
But there's always that case, Tara, that the girl likes the bad boy, doesn't she?
But Niall, I mean, do you really want your children to grow up and the first place you take them is, Mount Joy and say, oh, we're going to visit Daddy today, He's in here for the next 15 years for committing a rape or, for murdering somebody. What do you think is going to happen to children? Their minds are developing and they come in and they see their father behind bars for the next 10 or 15 years. What's going on in these women's minds? Are they so desperate to have a baby? Are they so desperate to have a man that they'll go out with a convicted rapist? They'll go out with a thug that put a knife up to an innocent taxi driver's throat? And to make matters worse, his mother said that he was hailing the cab down. I mean, Niall, no wonder half these guys end up in prison. They've got the support of their parents and their girlfriends. They think what they're doing is normal.
Hold on. In fairness to her, when she met this guy, online, she met him online. He was the man of her dreams. He's a handsome guy. She said he's a lovely bloke. She's met him a few times. They clicked. He's met her family, her friends. And he came forward and, offered up this information. It's not like she had to go and find it out from somebody else. And obviously from his point of view, maybe he hasn't committed a crime since and genuinely wants to change. Now, you believe he can't. But he offered the information as well.
But I believe this is a clever ploy to commit another rape, You don't know what's going on in this guy's mind. He's been lying. He's like one of these terrorists, these sleepers. He's just lying in wait, Niall, for the next rape,
So you wouldn't trust him?
I beg your pardon?
You wouldn't trust him at all?
Oh, I wouldn't trust this guy. No way. I wouldn't trust him as far as I throw him. He's dangerous. I'd run a mile from him.
Okay, stay there, Tara, if you can for a second. I want to go to James. James, you're in Kildare. You're live on Classic Hits. James, would you trust, somebody who's, it's difficult for a man to put himself in that position. From a woman's point of view, do you think a woman should trust a former, basically an ex-con, or a guy who's been a rapist, or he was a rapist, still is?
Oh, they should never trust him. It's like you said there a minute ago that he was a handsome guy. Ted Bundy was a handsome guy. My wife works in the courts and she sees it every day of the week. I remember turning up on my lunch break one day and I called in and there was a guy being hauled away into a van after he was sentenced. And he got 4 years. And I'll never forget, a girl, his partner, came running out the door and she shouted at him, "It's all right, you'll be out in 2 years. The solicitor said you'll be out in 2 years." And that's the type of mentality. The women now are like zombies. They can't think for themselves. It's a major problem.
So they're kind of standing by their man.
standing by their man, and it's just a vicious circle. I think women, especially single mothers now, they should go out and try and get themselves a hard-working man that'll go to work in the morning, come home in the evening.
Well, I don't know whether this guy, this former rapist, is a hard-working man. He could be a hard-working man.
He couldn't be if he's on the sex offenders.
Well, yeah, but it's not something you put on your CV, is it?
Well, I think single mothers would fare a lot better if they were to find themselves a working man. You never hear of a single woman coming on the radio saying, "Oh, I'd like to get myself a working man." It's like they're afraid of the working ethos in case it's contagious or something.
I don't think you're assuming every single mother out there is unemployed. By the way, I don't think that is the case.
Well, the majority of them are.
Well, I don't know where you got that statistic from. A lot of them would be, but not all of them. Okay, but in relation to this girl, okay, so the guy offers the information to her that he was in prison for 5 years, and she's verified it, by the way, that he has been in prison 5 years.
From his own experience, he would say to himself, "Well, if I'm honest here, I'd have a better chance because my previous relationships have all come to light. So I'll pretend to be honest now and hope that she falls for it because she sounds like a vulnerable girl."
But James, you're a religious man, right? And you've stated on numerous occasions that you're a religious man. Would you not be one then to forgive somebody? Is that not what the Bible preaches all about? Forgiveness, giving people a second chance. You know, he who hasn't sinned cast the first stone, all that kind of stuff.
That's true. She could forgive him, but could the children forgive him?
Well, she just has to be careful, I suppose. Well, people will say you don't put the children in that kind of risk, but you know, I mean, she just has to make. Do you not think she has to make up her own mind? I mean, she seems to think that he has changed. You know, she says she goes on to say he's a good man. You know what I mean?
And how is he good?
Well, that's what she's saying. She's saying he seems like a good. She said he's my heart is telling me that he's a good man, and people can change.
Our biggest problem.
I mean, okay, look. I mean, personally speaking, if it was my daughter, I'd say run a mile. Okay, that's just my opinion. But in saying that, people have changed.
Our biggest problem. Well, it's like a gambler. It's very hard to change a gambler, and you just can't take that chance. As well as that, her biggest problem is that guy is far more intelligent than what she is, and he's preying on her.
Mm-hmm. That he is more intelligent, I would imagine, if he managed to deceive her. Well, I mean, mind you, on an internet dating site, you don't put down former rapist looking for partner. You know what I mean?
Well, I think they should by right.
Well, you'll never get a date then, will you?
Well, exactly, and that's the way they should be left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And especially now, Niall, we're not seeing it so much of it now, but we are going to see it in the future when it comes to life. Single women now will need to be a lot more careful because you have men constantly.
Yeah, sorry, Tara, go ahead.
Can I ask, is he a foreign national?
I don't know, Tara. It doesn't mention his nationality. I don't know. Are you making assumptions, Tara?
Well, I think it's a factor, and I'd like to know.
Well, unfortunately, I don't. Well, maybe if the girl is listening, she could text in and let us know. I'll just put your name at the end of it because I know your name. So put your name at the end and let us know if he is a foreign national. But I don't believe that plays any part in it.
Well, no.
I mean, if we look at statistically, the rapes in Ireland, this is not America, where you have, I suppose, the majority of people who are in prison and are accused and convicted of rape in America would be non-white. Okay, they'd be Hispanic, they'd be Mexicans, they'd be black. But when you look at Ireland, we don't have those same statistics because we don't have that huge multicultural melting pot that have in the United States.
I know, but with Ireland is becoming, a multicultural society, and more women are dating men from foreign countries. And a lot of these men tend to have less respect for women because they come from, societies that treat women as second-class citizens. For example, Niall, Muslim countries.
Okay, we were talking about that the other night. Okay, but that's not. Yeah, and let's not generalise. Not every person that's a Muslim treats a woman badly.
I haven't met a nice Muslim yet, Niall, have you?
Well, that's your opinion, in fairness, Tara. Sorry, James, go ahead.
I won't mention the venue, but you know yourself what we had there recently in a venue in Slane and what happened, and they were all Irish people. Mm-hmm. You know, any Muslims at that?
Yeah, I mean, look, anybody can rape, anybody can abuse a woman. You know what I mean? It's not. I don't think it's necessarily down to one religion. I understand the point that Tara is making about people being second-class citizens or women being treated as second-class citizens. Yeah. But I think when in Ireland, many of them will behave as Irish do. In other words, when in Rome, behave as the Romans do. Not all of them.
Well, no.
Okay, so look, Tara, I actually don't want to get into that topic tonight, and because at no stage in the email does she mention that he's a foreign national or anything. So I think it's unfair to even go down that road. All right, so let's just go to Patricia. Stay there, lads, if you can. I want to go to, lads and ladies. Patricia, you're in Dublin. You're on Classic Hits. Go ahead.
Hey, yeah, thanks. Just that lady there. My cousin is from Dublin. She married a Muslim. They lived in Kuwait for years. She has 2 Muslim children, and he's absolutely gorgeous. Getting back to the topic of tonight, I think if you're a single woman and you're dating this guy and he's absolutely amazing, and a couple of months down the line he tells you he was a convicted rapist, blah, 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 did time in jail, and you decide you want to see him and you have this, you know, he's a great guy and you still want to continue seeing him and he's all these great qualities, that's fine, but not when you have children. I know you say people change and it's not like pedophilia and all that, but still, it's like I personally would never be able to go outside the door. So you want to be with somebody that you can trust 100%. You walk outside the door and you know you're safe. Could you ever do that if you were dating someone who's convicted rapist?
Yeah, hang on a second, Tara. I do understand what you're saying, Patricia. When you walk out the door, you're thinking, I've just left my children with a man who done 5 years for rape.
Yeah. I have 2 little dogs. I gave my dog to a guy I only met the other day.
Hang on, Tara.
I stayed with him for the weekend. My heart was broken leaving my 2 dogs with a guy I never met, only once for the first time. I trust him on the face of somebody else, and you're going to leave our kids with a fella you know who is a rapist. I'm sorry. I don't understand that at all. I don't know why you'd even write in to question that. I definitely wouldn't do it.
Well, I think she's questioning herself because she's kind of wondering, can somebody really change? Because she's seeing a different person to what he has just told her. She's met this guy who's lovely, everything she's ever imagined. He's a wonderful guy, the family, the friends, everybody loves him.
Is he a wonderful guy, Niall? Or is he just a wonderful guy because he wants her to love him because he's a rapist?
But I mean, Patricia, you could meet somebody tomorrow, right? The man of your dreams, right? Tomorrow, I don't know whether you're married or what your status is at the moment, but you could meet a guy tomorrow, trust him 100%, think he's the nicest guy in the world. You might never know. He could be an ex-con, he could be a murderer, he could be a rapist, he could be a paedophile, and you don't know.
He has told her, but that's fair enough. I would never know, but he has told her. I would never know. Thousands of us out there would never know. But he actually told her. And I don't think you should get kudos for that. I think that should set alarm bells off, ringing in our heads. Because, maybe the rest of us do walk around in a haze of love. Maybe we shouldn't, but she knows. And she should be just like going, oh my Jesus, thank God I found this out now. Thank God he told me, and great, we'd be friends and blah, blah, blah down the line. But no, he told her exactly. If you don't know, you've no excuse. You do know.
See, love is but Patricia, love is a very strange thing. You know what I mean? Because I know of a case, for example, that's ongoing in the courts. I won't give you too many details, but there's a guy, and he basically was sending emails and all sorts of things to his girlfriend's 13-year-old daughter. All right, so he was having an affair with her 13-year-old daughter. She found out, chucked him out, went to the police, the case is with the DPP. Now, this guy is now living with another girl who has kids. The girl went to this other girl to warn her, do you realise the guy you're going out with is coming up in court soon with me because he has sexually abused my daughter at 12 years of age. He was giving her a drink and everything and all sorts of carry on. The woman didn't care. She stayed with him, with her kids.
Listen, this is different, Niall. It's different, right? If I'm dating somebody and someone knocks on my door and goes, blah, 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 you think it's vengeance. You think, oh, look, you wanted what I have, piss off. This man is convicted on record. It's on the internet. It's on any illegal document you want to find. I could knock around to your door tomorrow and say, hey, listen, I tell you, Niall there, you this, that, and the other. That's hearsay. It's on paper.
Sorry, okay, well, hold on, Tara, you wanted to ask Patricia something there. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to ask her, have you ever seen a movie, Patricia, Not Without My Children? It was about an American woman who married a Muslim.
Yes, I did.
And
we're not talking about Muslims.
Hang on a second, I haven't finished.
Tara, you've got a bit of an agenda going on there now.
No, we don't know if he's a foreign national.
We're not talking about Muslims.
We don't know, but if we don't know if he's a foreign national, why even mention it?
It's nothing to do with race. It's to do with facts. It's nothing to do with where you're from.
It's to do with the cultural makeup of these people.
No,
if you come from a society, you're not listening to me.
Irish.
Hang on a second, you're not listening to me. If you come from a society that treats women as second-class citizens, you're going to have. That's why these men commit rapes.
Okay, but we don't know that
You
the
don't
guy
know
in
that.
question is a foreign national. So
You're making
you're bringing this conversation around to people who are foreign. You're looking for trouble here on the air.
Yeah, you're making assumptions, Tara.
You're asked a question. This girl is dating a convicted rapist. Should she or should she not be in a relationship, regardless of where he's bloody from? The answer is no. She's kids. No.
I know that, but you made a reference there. You made a reference to I don't know, was it your sister was married to a Muslim?
Yeah, my cousin. You never met a
your
nice
cousin,
Muslim.
right?
This is not.
Yeah,
listen,
but the
maybe
point that
next
I'm
week when
making,
we're talking about Muslims.
Yeah, but the point that I'm making is that all these nationalities are great when they're in Ireland, but get them back in their own countries and see what type of people they'll be.
Okay, yeah, well, I'll tell you what we do, Tara. We'll cover that another night, okay? We'll talk about, and I do know the movie you're talking about, by the way. There was some other great books in relation to that as well, but we can talk about it another night. Just not tonight. That's not what we're talking about. Stay there for a second, all of you, can. I want to just go to Jessica before the break. Jessica, you're on Classic Hits. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm actually surprised at the level of hostility that I'm hearing from the listeners in the show tonight. Like, when I heard that story, my heart went out to that woman, and I do think it's not as kind of clean cut as that. There are feelings involved. I don't think you can just let go of something. It's probably very, very hard for her as a single mother to actually find somebody, and she did click with this man, and they did. I just felt terribly sorry for her when I heard that, and I don't know if I know what that man did was terrible, but at the end of the day, he did serve time for his crime, and I don't know if she would be right to just let go of that relationship straight away. I mean, they obviously have a genuine attraction to each other. Now, if she could kind of sort something out where maybe they continued seeing each other and kept her children away from it just for a little while, but I don't know if that's worth throwing away everything that they have. I think she must find, it must be very, very difficult for her. And I'm actually quite surprised to hear how many people are so against her.
Yeah, sorry, James, go ahead.
That lady, she needs to keep her feelings out of it. The safety of the children must be paramount. That lady is no good to her children. Should something happen to her children, is she going to go to court and talk about feelings? Feelings doesn't come into it.
But I think feelings is very, very important in this situation. She met him as a result of her feelings. Her children are a product of her feelings. This man, he did something terrible. He has done the time for it. He's not a paedophile. And he's not. I don't know if there's any violence, if he has any violence in his past. I don't know the full story with that.
Is he really being
And I don't know the circumstances
hang on one at a time.
Either.
What about the feelings of the rape victim?
I think that's, an awful thing that person has to go through. But this woman can't think about that. She can't think about the victim because she doesn't know the victim.
Sorry, Patricia, you want to say something? Go ahead.
She has to think about it. I understand where that girl is coming from. I genuinely do. I do. It is hard out there to find somebody, especially if you have children. It is very hard. And, you fall in love with people. As you said tonight, we really don't know who we're falling in love with. And unless he tells you something and it's on like you were saying about another case, unless we can go out and get a private investigator to research everyone we date, we don't know who we're dating. Mm-hmm. But my question is that guy really being this great guy because he has to be to meet somebody? Like, is he this amazing person? This girl's been around saying, "Oh, look, he's an amazing guy. He's great. He's fantastic."
So, are you saying he's overcompensating?
Person, or is he really an absolute and utter whatever? Mm-hmm. Is he being false to get somebody, or is he genuinely nice? And with a conviction like that, you just don't know.
It's a fair point, Jessica, that, what they're saying is, okay, he comes across as being, the nicest guy anybody's ever met, according to her letter, but maybe he's overcompensating for the fact that he knows if she ever found this out, which he's actually told her now, that he's gone, that he just can't have a relationship. Nobody's going to trust him.
One thing that I will say, and I know this from my own experience, and I think anybody else who has been in this situation can probably verify this, women who have children and date are extremely cautious. They're probably more cautious than anybody else. They're more cautious than people who are divorced are more cautious than people who've been badly hurt in the past, because they are, they have their children to think of. They are exceptionally cautious when it comes to new relationships. This woman sounds like she is as well. It sounds like she took her time. Everybody, usually women who have children do that. I think if there was any sense that he wasn't being genuine, she would have smelt a rat very quickly. I think what probably happened is that for the first time in a long time, this man felt
if you're a manipulator, it's in you. It's in you to be a manipulator.
That's why.
I mean, he raped somebody. He's a manipulating, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if you can swear on air anymore. He's a manipulator. Who'll say he's not manipulating this person? You just don't know.
The point she's making, Jessica, is quite simple. That, okay, maybe you're giving him the benefit of the doubt and saying that he possibly can change. But who knows? It's a 50-50 chance that maybe he can. Are you willing, would you be willing if it was your daughter, I know you don't have any daughters that age, you've told us that before, but would you be willing if it was your daughter to let her take that chance with somebody who's basically a rapist? And that's what he is.
It's a tough one for me to answer, but I know if it was me and I was faced with that and I was head over heels for somebody, I don't know if I'd be able to back away straight away. I've been in situations where people haven't agreed with something my partner's done or whatever it is, but you should always give somebody a second chance. And I think, particularly when you do have children, it's quite difficult to meet people, and it's quite difficult to, again, meet somebody that you really care for. And, I don't know if it was my daughter what I'd say, but I know if it was actually me and there were that strong feelings involved, it would be very difficult for me to completely walk away from that.
I want to go to Tom. How you doing, Tom? You're in Limerick. You're on Classic Hits. Go ahead.
Niall, how's it going? Now, look, I have a daughter myself, and my head would tell me, look, run a mile, because, look, there's always the potential there for a re-offence.
Mm-hmm.
It's a chance you can't take. I'm sorry, but it's just, logically it doesn't make sense. Like, I know what you're saying about love and stuff like that, but, like, you have to deal with the facts. That guy was convicted of a rape, like, that's, like you said, next to murder and paedophilia,
that's the ultimate crime, yeah.
That's the line you don't cross, but, like, there's just one other thing there I just want to raise there. I think her name is Tara, is it?
Tara, yes.
Yeah, going on about the foreign nationals. Mm-hmm. I'm being honest, look, that's racist. It's not borderline, that's racist. It's bigotry. That's something we're trying to get rid of in this country, and it's not fair. Like, look, my own wife is a foreign national, like, so what does that mean? Like, does that mean then I treat her badly or something like that? Look, doesn't matter what your nationality is, if you're going to be treated badly, it's irrelevant.
Yeah, look, if anybody from any culture, any religion treats somebody badly, it's a crime, and that's the end of the story.
That's it, end of story. Like,
yeah.
We don't need this like Islam bashing and stuff like that. I don't know much about Islam. I don't want to know, because it has no relevance.
Yeah, it's irrelevant to your life, yes.
But what I'm saying to you is, it's narrow-minded, stupid comments like that cause a lot of trouble between different ethnic groups.
How is it narrow-minded or stupid?
It's stupid.
How? How is it stupid?
Even as opposed, stupid is calling it mild. It's racist.
Really? So
yeah,
you think the Muslim...
Hold on a second. Tara, I am not going down this route tonight, because all we're doing is taking the topic in a completely different direction, and you're generalising about a population of people.
Niall, hang on a second. We have experience of what Muslims have done.
Tara, why do you keep doing it? Why can't you stick to the topic? You've heard what Tom has said. By even bringing that into it, you're taking the topic in a different direction. You're generalising about a group of people for absolutely no reason, because at no point in the email to me did she say this man is a foreign national. So I don't know I don't know what your agenda is, Tara.
My agenda is with a culture and with a
your
religion.
Your agenda is racism.
No, it isn't racism.
Yes, it is.
Racism.
It is downright plain simple racism.
You are emotional about this because you were married to a foreign national. This is why you were emotional about it.
Yes. But hold on. Tom is not making an assumption that the rapist is a foreign national. But you are.
I'm not having a go with this man's wife. I don't care what nationality your wife is. I'm not having a go with her. I'm talking about a religion, a culture that treats women.
Look at Catholicism. Catholicism isn't even native to this country, for fuck's sake. I think it's
you know, if we really want to go down that route, we want to talk about women being treated as second-class citizens. All we got to do is go back 50 years ago in Ireland when the Catholic Church treated women as second-class citizens. Not even as far back as 50 years ago. We could go back 15 years ago.
Exactly.
So, yeah, let's not even get into it, Tara. And, you know, to be honest with you, I had a gentleman rang up during the break there and he wants to have a chat with you later on, and I'm going to organise that, okay? Because I think you need to talk to somebody who maybe understands you a little bit better, all right, in relation to that. But I am going to talk about it later, Tara. So cool the jets for a second.
Just 1 second.
Yeah, Tom, well, hang on for a second, Tom. In relation to what Jessica says, and Jessica's still there, she believes that we're all being a little bit callous here. We don't know how this woman feels. Why not give this man a second chance? Everybody deserves a second chance.
Look, I can only imagine what position that woman is in, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone. But look, at the end of the day, one of your male callers there said, look, the children's safety is paramount.
Mm-hmm.
And our own safety as well, like. Look, it's happened once. There is still a possibility it could happen again. No one can say that it won't. Like you said, what's the reoffend rate like?
Well, the reoffence rate for rapists are quite high compared to most crimes, I suppose. Now, nothing like paedophilia, which would be 85%.
Those are statistics that I'm pulled out of the sky, like, you know.
Okay, well, let me just go back to Jessica. Jessica, most people kind of go along with you and say, well, okay, the girl is probably in love, but she needs to step away from this chap for the safety of her children more than anything else. And I don't really want to, I didn't really want to bring this in, but I do believe it's relevant. And I remember when you were on last year, Jessica, you did mention that your boyfriend or your partner now, I know you were married or you were going with somebody else before, but your partner now did hit your child and you forgave him. You do seem like a very forgiving person.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I don't think I am a forgiving person, but I do think that certain situations do kind of require it, and it's not for me to judge certain people. My experience with my partner is, well, it's something that I felt that I should mention, but at the time I don't see really what it has to do with this. But to be honest with you,
hold on, Jessica, for a second. It is quite relevant to the conversation because you're a forgiving person because you openly admitted on the air before that your own partner had slapped your child, and many people thought, hold on for a second, he's not even the child's father, and you allowed him to slap him, and you did on the night fudge the question when you were asked on a couple of occasions that night. Was your partner, or was there any background to your partner? And you said it was nobody's business, but there was issues before you met him. So,
well, first of all, I quite take offence to you saying that I'm a forgiving person. I wouldn't call myself a forgiving person. I don't forgive very easily. But I do think when you meet somebody that you care about, I mean, I'm not a perfect person. He certainly isn't perfect either. He hasn't always been the most perfect man. But I feel that since we've met each other, I think that when you really care about somebody, you improve each other.
Mm-hmm.
And he obviously had a slip up during our relationship, which hasn't happened again. And I think that whatever somebody does.
And did he have slip ups? Did he have slip ups before you met him?
Well,
are you speaking from experience on this topic?
Relevant.
No, I'm asking. Well, no, it is relevant because I'm asking you: are you speaking from experience in this particular topic? In other words, you seem to sympathise with her situation because maybe I'm not insinuating that you were in that position, but maybe you were in a similar position.
Well, my partner, it's not an issue now. When he was younger, he was more, I don't want to say the word violent because that's quite strong, but he was more aggressive, I suppose.
Okay.
And that is something that we've discussed and we've gone through. And the situation that occurred with my own son was something that, to be honest with you, if he hadn't done it, I don't know if I would have lost the rag myself. And I think that a lot of parents can understand that sometimes it's just too much.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what we're talking about right now, but I mean that I wouldn't call myself a forgiving person because I gave somebody a second chance or because I didn't judge them by their past. I certainly have judged people by their past before. I've certainly judged people on face value before. But I think when you meet somebody and you truly care for them, that does go out the window. And I suppose you're willing to take risks for that. And sometimes the risks really pay off, and in my case they did. I'm not saying that woman, I'm not saying everyone should jump into bed with a convicted rapist, but I do think that if your feelings are that strong, she obviously took it very slowly. Again, I can't stress this enough. That woman is a mother. When you're a mother, you are so cautious about the people that you date. I don't think single mothers in, like that aren't desperate. She sounds like a very decent, upstanding woman.
Okay, well, hang on for a second. The question again, by the way, somebody says, what are we talking about? Well, what we're talking about is an email we have from a woman who met the man of her dreams, but he's now informed her that he was a convicted rapist 8 years ago. He got 5 years for rape. I'm asking you, she wants to know, should she run a mile? Norine, you're in Clare, you're on Classic Hits. Norine, should she run a mile?
Yes, she can forgive him, but she doesn't have to be with him.
Mm-hmm.
She deserves better for herself and her children than what she wants to let herself into,
mm-hmm.
or what she seems to, the road she's going seems to be going down. My view is go a different road, go a better road. She deserves better than that, and so do her children.
But I'm sure, like everybody, she believes she deserves the best. And to her, at the moment she met him and the few dates maybe she had with him, obviously he's been in her family and everything because they've all met him, she believed he was the best. So it's only what he's told her that's made her change her opinion.
Yeah, he should have told her that from the very start.
But it's not the kind of thing you say on a first date. By the way, I'm a convicted rapist.
Shortly after they started talking, I suppose,
Mm-hmm. Because I often, it is a question I would ask myself that, if you are convicted of a serious crime, which, let's be honest, murder, rape, any of those kind of crimes are considered to be serious, do you deserve a second chance in life?
Depending on what that chance is.
And do you deserve the chance to change?
Oh, definitely, yeah. But the thing is, I wouldn't trust that man at all. I mean, he can say lovely things and all that type of thing and not mean them just to, I wouldn't call it grooming. I would call it, I don't know what I'd call it at the moment, just to get her, You
mean, somebody else said he's overcompensating, so to speak.
Well, I mean, is he telling her the real truth about, how he feels about her and all this sort of thing? Is he building up building her up for a terrible fall?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. See, Jessica, this is the point, and I think, Jessica, you're one of the very few, one or two texts, all right, are suggesting that they agree with you. Like, I'll give you an example, Jessica. Somebody says, forgiving Jessica, whistle at her, especially if you're from Finglas, whatever that's supposed to mean. Another person says, let people get something straight about this. The man has enough to take a chance in telling the girl they do love each other and she will keep him on the straight and narrow. Well, I don't know whether she will keep him on the straight and narrow or not. I don't know anybody who keep a rapist.
But why do you think she wouldn't? Why shouldn't she? I don't see, I think everyone's just kind of jumping on a bandwagon here and saying, oh, that's really terrible, this guy, that's it for him now and that's it for her. Give people a chance. Sometimes when you really care about each other, you do keep each other in the straight and narrow. You do stop each other from doing things that that are wrong. And from my own experience, I've become a better person since I met my partner, and he has certainly become a better person since he met me. And I don't mean that in an arrogant way, but that's the truth. You have to give people a chance sometimes. I know this is a serious thing, but her feelings are obviously there, and I have a feeling she probably will give him a chance. Mm-hmm. It sounds like it.
Niall.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
We can keep ourselves, and we're supposed to keep ourselves on the straight and narrow. But I doubt that we can, keep somebody else on the straight and narrow if they want to do something awful.
Like I'm looking at a Canadian study here. There's very few studies done in Ireland on something like this, right? I'm just looking at one online here by he's a criminologist, and 88.3% of sex offenders will reoffend. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a pretty, now I don't know what the figures are like over here, but that's a pretty high figure, Jessica. That's a huge risk for somebody to take. So according to this, there's an 88.3% of him reoffending.
I think that statistics are statistics. It's not in the same country, and that could be.
But men are men.
That's with a broad range of different kind of.
Yeah, but we're talking about Canada, which is culturally not it's not hugely different to Ireland.
Fine, but as like those statistics deal with a wide range of
sex crimes,
of different kind of sexual abusers or sexual offenders.
Mm-hmm.
This man, as far as we know, he committed a crime once, as far as we know,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just going on that, and it was when he was quite young. So how likely what if the statistics for men who commit a crime once
Okay,
when they're young?
and I'm looking here at what they say. Okay, I'm looking at what they said about this particular study. Critics said the rate was artificially increased by study design, right? Now, I'm also looking at other sites here, and there's nothing under 50%. So let's give this guy the benefit of the doubt and statistics and say it's 50-50. Are you even willing to take the chance on 50-50?
Well, I think if you care about somebody enough, you will take that chance. Honestly.
Okay, well, hold on a second. I want to go to John. John, you're in Dublin. You're on Classic Hits. Go ahead.
I can't believe what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
I really can't believe what I'm hearing.
Would you? Well, you don't get many female rapists, but
yeah.
But would you give somebody a second chance?
That it doesn't matter. Look, Niall, we're not talking about nicking. We're not talking about shoplifting here, right? Mm. We're not talking about going in and nicking a tub of sweets. We're not even talking about nicking some old dear's handbag here. We're talking about rape. He raped somebody. And I really can't get my head around the comment about, this is such and such a country. It doesn't matter if it's Canada, if it's the United States, if it's Australia, Africa, Australia, if it's bloody Neptune. I'm just forget that, because I don't know where that's coming out of. Rape is rape, and the probability, as you've already made expressly clear, the probability that the individual once an individual has a propensity to rape, they will do it again. There's no two ways about the fact that they will do it again. And consider the nature of the crime. This is rape.
Just to clarify for Jessica, and I'm not assuming that she's stupid or anything like that, but you do know, Jessica, why men rape women, don't you? It's nothing to do with wanting sex.
Well, with the greatest of respect to you,
it's an abusive act, but I think
it's not even. No, hold on. It's nothing. It's not even to do with abuse, Jessica.
Niall,
it's to do with power, Jessica.
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Niall.
Yeah, John.
Rape. Not only is rape not about, and I've done this extensively. Not only is rape not about sex, it's not even about the victim. Rape is about the rapist. That's what rape is about. It's about the rapist. If you look at all the famous rape cases going back as far as you want to go, I mean, the most infamous rapist, who also happened to be a necrophile as well as any other number of horrendous things, is obviously Jack the Ripper, right? Rape is about the rapist. If you look into the pathology of rapists and the pathology of why, the reason, the motivation behind why rapists rape, it's about the rapist. Do you know what I mean?
But in this situation, don't you feel that because he's in a relationship with this woman, because he obviously cares about her,
with the greatest
because
of respect,
they've taken their time with it, do you not feel that this would not compel him to rape her? I don't know what the situation was when he committed this
Jessica,
crime.
with the greatest respect, because you keep using that cliche all the time, would you not imagine, for example, that a father looking at his 16-year-old daughter, who we hear of them being raped all the time, would look at her and say, that's my daughter, I'm not going to do it? There's nothing can stop a rapist. Nothing.
But what if this does stop him? I mean, obviously,
Jessica,
this is something about him. If he's willing to care about this woman, then possibly that will stop him.
Jessica, what do you know about... I'm not being funny here, and I'm going to try my best not to be condescending here, but what do you know about the psychology of rape and rapists?
Have you come up with an answer yet? The question John asked you quite simply was, do you know what rape is?
No, that's not what I said.
Was that the way you worded it? Sorry, John, what was it?
What I said was... No, don't misquote me. What I said was, does Jessica know anything about the pathology of rapists?
Okay, do you know anything about the pathology of rapists?
A short answer, no, I don't. It's not something that I've a particular vested interest in, I have to say.
That's kind of the end of that,
possibly
Jessica.
because I have my own life. Pardon?
That's kind of the end of that, Jessica. Unfortunately, that's the end of that conversation. If you don't know anything about the
what did you say? You don't know because you possibly have a life.
Sorry?
Yeah, it's not something I've particularly researched, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but the thing is, you can't make a comment about rape. You can't go on, you can't turn around and...
I can't make a comment about rape.
You can't turn... No, you can't turn around... No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said. You can't comment on, giving this guy another chance or, comment on the possibility of rapists, because rapists, it has been conclusively proven that rapists, because of the kind of individuals they are and because of the kind of situations that most of these people or individuals have come from, these rapists, once they have been motivated to rape once, that's a fairly consistent thing. They will do it again and again and again.
I don't know if that is conclusive. I think that the individual does count in the situation. You can look at your statistics all you like.
And what does it...
There is always a possibility.
Niall, what does having a life have to do with it?
Even if there's 1,000 rapists and 1 out of that 1,000 doesn't do it again, shouldn't there be a chance for them?
Oh, yeah. Let's play Russian roulette with your kids. Is that what you're saying, Jessica?
I'm not saying play Russian roulette with your kids. First of all, this man isn't a paedophile. The children aren't immediately
We're not
at risk.
talking about paedophilia. We're talking about rape.
I think that the woman should be cautious and should proceed with caution. But I feel that if she truly wants to go ahead with this, that she should, because you only get one chance at it. You don't know who you're going to fall for. And I think she is genuinely afraid probably that she won't meet somebody else. And I think that, they had something very, very good going there.
Okay, well, hang on for a second. I want to bring Rory in on it if I can.
The rapist. He's a rapist, Jessica. He did it before. He'll do it again.
Rory, you're on Classic Hits. Go ahead. You're in Dublin. Go ahead.
How you doing, lads? I'll keep it fairly short and sweet if I can.
Right, go ahead.
First things first, just want to say, under no circumstances do I condone or, rape is horrible. It's a horrific crime. It's disgusting. It destroys families and it hurts people. And I don't condone it in any way whatsoever. But I'm a huge believer in the capacity for rehabilitation and the capacity for change. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a movie called The Woodsman with Kevin Bacon. Basically, Kevin Bacon plays this guy who...
He's a reformed paedophile. I remember. She has a good movie,
exactly.
actually. Yeah.
When you watch it genuinely brings up that question in your mind and your heart. Okay, this guy's disgusted with himself. He's walking around. He hates who he is. He hates his life. Imagine, put yourselves in this situation, gentlemen, and you may say, you've done something wrong. Maybe we can speculate, because we don't know the facts of the case. I can speculate. One example, he's 19 years of age. He drank too much one night. He did something stupid, and he's never done anything like that again. He went to prison for 5-6 years. According to society's rules, he's paid his debt. I mean, why else do we have prison? Surely that's there to rehabilitate. I know in Dublin, in certain prisons.
Just run up the stairs or something, Rory. Your phone is going a bit dodgy, if you can.
Sorry, I know.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was saying, in places like, say, Norway or somewhere like that, they actually believe the prison has the ability to rehabilitate people. But anyway, the point that I'm making is this guy, say he's done his steps to death to society. He made a stupid mistake when he was 15. A girl said no. He just kept going. And that's awful. So wrong. But, is this guy to be denied for the rest of his 60, 70 years on the planet? Is this guy to be denied any chance by anyone ever to be considered to be a functioning member of society? Do we just take him at the back and shoot him in the head? I'm just asking the question. Do we?
Well, okay, John, it's a fair question, and one that I raised earlier on, one of the callers, Norine, when I said, when we talk about people who've committed crime, be it murder or rape or even paedophilia, well, I think I'll draw the line at paedophilia, but certainly murder and rape, are they never to get a job again? It's not something you put in your CV. Have they never to live a life again? I mean, is that it? Is that their life over?
Well, Niall, a couple of things. First of all, I think anybody who has raped or sexually molested or assaulted anybody has permanently, irrespective of what happens to them from that point on, they have permanently changed the life of the person that they have raped or sexually assaulted.
I think we all agree
right?
with that. Yeah,
That's the first thing. Second of all, I think if you look into it a little bit, I think you'll find that people that rape are fairly consistent in their behaviour, and I think it's been shown, rapists generally have been shown not to be capable, to at least in the overwhelming majority of circumstances, are not really capable of being rehabilitated. I think even chemical castration has it's been shown in many cases that chemical castration still hasn't taken away the basic urge to want to sexually molest or sexually assault or rape in the cases of people that have been convicted of doing so.
Yeah, but you're talking about, can I just stop there? You've been banging on for the last 10-15 minutes about the pathology of rapists, and listen, I actually do know a little bit about the pathology of rapists, from Ted Bundy to Richard Ramirez,
so
the big-time guys. The guys who have done it. Hang on, let me finish. Can I get my point across? Because you've been talking to that girl. That girl has been sitting there going, listen, everybody deserves a chance. And you've been banging on about statistics and about the pathology of rapists, all that kind of stuff. But the reality is, at the end of the day, human beings are human beings, and they do awful, stupid, hateful things. And some of them, not all, like, you can bang on about statistics, but some of them regret it for the rest of their days and spend every waking moment of their life trying to change what they did by being good to other people and by making their lives worth something. So listen, I know you probably have, you sound like, from the way you're talking, that you've had an incredibly emotional experience with someone that you're related to or someone that you know. I won't speculate anymore.
Can I just interject on what you said? I don't know where you're going. You're coming across. You're trying your best to come across as somebody who has formal knowledge of what you're talking about. You actually don't, right?
And you're telling me what I know now. To be honest, I don't.
Well, what you know.
Well, hang on for a second, John. Rory, can I ask you a question? And it's a fair question in the interest of the debate. I'm not suggesting for a minute that you've ever raped anybody, but I mean, have you ever committed a crime or something that you have regretted that kind of gives you first-hand experience to say that maybe somebody makes a stupid mistake in their lives?
Have I ever committed a crime of that nature? Absolutely not. But I hope to believe no one in this conversation has done that either.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, but what's special? I mean, you're banging on about Ted Bundy. Do you know who Ted Bundy was? Do you reckon?
Absolutely.
Okay, who was he? Who was Ted Bundy?
Ted Bundy was an American, one of the most famous American serial killers of all time.
Well, he wasn't America's most famous serial killer, but go on. He was
famous speculative. Will you let me fit? You asked me a question and you cut me off in the middle of it. If you want to have a debate about Ted Bundy, I'll do it. Ted Bundy, he was an average, I'm not sure if he practiced law, but I'll come back to that. He had an average life. He had a failing with his first girlfriend, and he went on from the early age of about 18 or 19 to abduct, bash over the head, rape, necrophilia. He escaped twice while in custody. I could go on and on about Ted Bundy.
And essentially killed about 30 people.
Ted Bundy, but
yes.
Go on.
We know of, 30 people. Unfortunately, the last one was a 12-year-old girl. Anyway, the point I'm making is that this person isn't Ted Bundy. He's not Richard Ramirez. We don't know that. One mistake.
What does Richard Ramirez have to do with Ted Bundy?
Because Richard Ramirez is a rapist as well.
Right, you know very little about Richard Ramirez, but go on.
Anyway, so the point is this. Look, the sentiment remains the same. Somebody made
but you
a
don't,
mistake.
Hang on a second. You don't know what you're talking about. You're proving that conclusively with just about everything that's coming out of your mouth. Do you reckon that...
But hold on, John. Be fair to him, okay? He's trying to make a point. We're not all historians.
His MO, like.
Okay.
He's bandying on about it. I haven't made a mind...
You reckon Ted Bundy could be rehabilitated? Do you reckon Jeffrey Dahmer could be rehabilitated? Do you reckon
Larry Murphy, bring it home.
Listen, being very, very quick about it, my point is this. Human beings, when they... Again, I don't know the circumstances. All I'm saying, and this girl was saying, from what I heard coming home, was that everybody deserves... Serial rapists, fair enough, you're right. It's a career thing for them. They're not going to walk away from it.
Yeah, can I just say something to you? At the very start of the conversation...
Let somebody else speak for fucking 5 seconds. Please.
Conversation.
Okay, well, John, hang on. Just let him finish and then I'll let you reply to it. Go
we'll just top it off. Okay, listen, so everybody deserves a second chance. If they've only made one mistake, if it isn't something that they've repetitively done, and this guy went to prison, he's out of prison. Obviously, to meet women, obviously he's out of prison quite a bit of time. He's done 5 years. He's been honest with the girl. If he was such a predatory, evil, secretive person, he wouldn't have sat down and said, listen, I have done time for one of the most awful things you can do. This guy was up front with the woman, and he gave her, he wasn't sneaking around in the dark. And if she found out that he'd done it, on the slide, then by all means, get rid of him, because he'd lied to her. But this guy sat down, obviously, and said, I made a terrible mistake. And if somebody has the forthrightness and the honesty to say, listen, this is what I did in my life. I'm obviously not proud of it, but will you give me a chance?
And I thought the point he's making, John, is, when we talk about serial rapists or serial killers, okay, if the guy commits a crime which is heinous like rape, he deserves every year he gets in jail. But when he steps outside the jail, Rory's saying, well, look, give him a second chance. If he does it again, throw away the key.
Right, can I respond to one thing you said?
Yeah, go ahead, John.
At the top of the conversation, that young man, right, came on and said that I had been banging on about the pathology of rape and the pathology of serial rapists for 15 minutes. He said something to the effect of, you wouldn't mind, just stopping talking for a while and listen to somebody who actually knows what they're talking about. He hasn't proved in anything he said. Right? He knows nothing about the pathology of serial rapists. He knows nothing about the pathology of serial killers. He knows nothing about basic psychology.
Well, yeah, but John, I think Rory's quite clear in what he says. He's not a serial rapist. He's not.
Well, no. He was a serial rapist. He knows nothing, absolutely nothing whatsoever about the pathology of the kind of individual
that does this. This guy is a clown.
But he doesn't know anything. You don't.
You're a clown, mate. You're a clown.
No, you're the child. You know absolutely nothing whatsoever about the pathology of rape.
Listen, I love the show. I got to go. I have other things to do. But thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, good luck to him.
All right. Okay, John, but look, you're not going to give him a second chance, and you think the girl should run a mile. That's basically it, isn't it?
Somebody who is motivated to do that will do it again. It may be 5 years, maybe 10 years. Who knows? But he will do it again.
You've been listening to a Classic Hits 4FM podcast. Check out classichits.ie for more.